Okay.
All right, it's 1 o'clock. We're gonna call the North Watcom District 21 regular meeting, July 16th to order. And we'll have roll call.
John Crawford.
Scott Fisher.
Bruce Ansel.
Jason Vanderveen.
Richard Davis is with us today, and Rich Bosman is excused. He had a death in his family that he's attending to. So there'll be the three of us here today. Public comment is suspended due to the governor's proclamation, and we'll go ahead and open the Volunteer Pension Board meeting with the first item being the approval of the June 18th minutes. Is there a motion to approve said minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Chief, we have a pension eligibility issue.
Yes, sir. For Mr. James Brown, he was a District 4 volunteer from 1996 through 2017, and he's looking to cash out his retirement, I believe.
Move to approve.
So a motion to approve his pension eligibility.
Yes.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank Mr. Brown for his service here. It's like been 3 years since he left, or
Yes.
just waited till now?
I think he just waited till now. Yep.
Okay. Well, good for him. Anything else before the pension board? If not, I'll move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. We'll move on to the regular board meeting. The first item is the consent agenda that has meeting minutes from June 18th, last month's regular meeting, July 10th, the special meeting, staff reports, financial reports, vouchers, and I'll read the numbers in. Total revenue for June was $1,079,720.29, and total expenditures July $712,512.71. Employee direct deposit payroll $311,359.76. Benefits vouchers $270,290.71. Monthly expenditure vouchers $130,862.24. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, items of concern? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports. Anyone have any meeting reports?
I had a meeting with Dan McDermott with City of Bellingham in late June. We talked about some 911 dispatch items, but nothing to report as of right now.
Okay. As you all know, I had a meeting, or was at last meeting, said I was going to meet with Chairman Hansen from District 4 on June 23rd. That was attended by myself, Dave Hansen, Kenneth Cunningham, and Robert Glorioso. At that meeting, we discussed moving forward with an RFA and sort of letting past issues move forward. I think, all agreed that forming the exploratory committee, or what's the right term, planning committee, would be the first start. And I think we have some correspondence from District 4 that came in this morning, or last yesterday, and then you guys got it in your packet this morning. And we'll forget the Hotel California piece, but
Sorry about that.
that's all right. One of the concerns that District 4 expressed at that meeting was their ability to make their October 1 payment, and were concerned that we might terminate the interlocal agreement if they couldn't make that payment. And I assured them that was never our intent, that we were all in favor of exploring an RFA, and that we wouldn't invoke that part of the current ILA. Interestingly, yesterday we received a letter from them saying they want to terminate the interlocal agreement. So I'm mildly confused by all of this, and would like to, before we end this meeting, schedule a special meeting so that we can talk about what this letter means and how we're going to respond to it, hopefully in the near future. So just when I thought we had things moving forward, I'm not sure that we are, based on this letter. So that's all I got to report. I'm not aware of any report from the local. Chief, have you got any word from them?
I do not know.
All right, Mr. Davis, any legal issues we need to be updated on?
The only thing I would tell you is the governor's proclamation that deals with these remote meetings is good through August 1. The governor wanted it to go to September 1, but the caucus, the legislature turned him down. We're expecting it to be extended probably on a month-to-month basis or something like that. So we're just going to kind of be in this situation for a while.
Yeah, it's getting old. I'd like to be able to go back to meeting in person. All right, move on to unfinished business. We have the audit, Chief. I saw some communication. It sounds like the audit's going quite well so far.
It is. There have been a couple issues brought up recently about vacation accruals and how vacation is used, which has been apparently, not apparently, it's been an issue over several audits, it sounds like, and it's not been corrected to the auditor's satisfaction. So we've got to go back to the drawing board. They've given us some really clear suggestions, and they've been super helpful. But that is going to be something that comes up. Some of the correspondence I shared with Commissioner Ansel was about our cash receipting and other things. They're still working on and looking and asking questions about self-insurance. This will luckily be the last audit where we have to deal with a lot of this, well, with any of the self-insurance items. That was, it turns out that the self-insurance triggers a different depth of audit. So, which is a good thing. It's just a lot of data to go back and collect and answer. So we continue to move forward, and this being my first audit, I couldn't tell you when it's going to be wrapped up. I know that Benita is feeling good about it as well.
Good. That's good to hear. I'm sure they'll let us know their findings, hopefully in the near future. Anything fresh on the Dakota Creek Bridge issue. Were we trying to get some variances or permits or?
Yeah, everything's in the hands of the state at this point. We've sent off, thank you again, Commissioner Crawford, for digging up all the, excuse me, the paperwork and regs on how to get that done. Everything's been submitted, and we're waiting to hear back from the state.
Do you know how long ago that was submitted, Jason? Because the guy that I talked to said it shouldn't take more than a couple weeks.
I would say we're about at the 2-week mark right now.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
City of Blaine Fire Marshal Services.
Well, with the resignation of Chief Rostov, I will be setting up a meeting. I have the gentleman's name from the City of Blaine, and I'll set up an initial meeting, and we'll go from there. I'll have more to report in August. Everything's still kind of in flux. So I do have some interim agreements set up with agencies around us to provide those services should they be needed in the City of Blaine. Bellingham and South Wacom have been very helpful, as well as we have the county fire marshal for the unincorporated areas of the county. So we're covered. We will meet our end of the bargain and provide services to Blaine. But as far as specific items that they need, I'll have a better answer for you in August.
Okay. We'll probably need to have some sort of discussion regarding Chief Rostov here. Maybe after executive session, you can fill us in on some details, and then we'll discuss some options here.
Okay.
Whatcom County Paramedic Training Interlocal Agreement is our next item.
Yeah, I just got that back yesterday from Mr. Davis's office, and that will be going out to you. There were so many documents that kind of went out in the 11th hour that will be going out to you after this meeting. Spoke with Commissioner Hansel about it. Everything, it's all ready to go. There's just a couple of things that we need to discuss, or you guys need to discuss and give me some direction on. That we're going to plan to have a special meeting to discuss both the RFA and this interlocal agreement. So look for that document coming here in the next few hours.
Okay, so I'm seeing two items for a special meeting. One is this paramedic interlocal agreement, where we'll be able to discuss that in more detail after we've been able to review it, and then the letters from District 4 regarding the termination of the interlocal agreement.
Correct.
Have Jenny make those notes. She's listening in there. All right, that takes care of unfinished business. New business. Commissioner McPhail sent us a letter of resignation, retirement. He served the district from January of 2010 until July 4th of 2020. So 10 and a half years with the district, and I'd like to thank Larry for his time and service. I know he's looking forward to not having to attend any more of these Zoom meetings, but I'm hoping, and it sounds like I've heard that we've got some things in the works to thank him and honor him for his time serving the district.
Yes.
And we've got several things that we've delayed. We've got some new hires and chief promotion and Larry's retirement and different things that we'd certainly like to be able to celebrate in a public forum if and when that time comes back that we can do that. So we'll add Larry to our list of dignitaries that we would like to thank and honor for their time here. With that said, we have a advertisement for a fire commissioner position that will be posted in the local newspapers. I think there was a cover letter that Jenny had prepared, and we needed to pick a date to submit the letter of qualifications. And I figured, 30 days after we post notice would be appropriate, and that gives us a little leeway if we pick August 28th as the deadline to receive those. I think October 4 is our deadline to our 90 days to appoint a new candidate. If we get applications in by August 28th, hopefully we get some. That would give us a month to review those and interview potential candidates for the position. So if you guys are okay with that, we'll set the 28th as the letter cutoff for qualifications.
That sounds good to me.
I'm in favor of that.
All right, so we'll do that. And next item then is GEMT Healthcare Authority update.
This is just informational letter. It just we get one every year from the Washington State Healthcare Authority. Just it breaks or gives us the average cost per transport for that we'll be reimbursed for next year, which will be $5,442.
Do you know what the change was?
I don't have that in front of me.
Okay. It didn't go down though.
It did not go down.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And if in our financials, we did receive our payment posted from this past year's GEMT money.
Yes, we did.
700 and
$731,249.
all right. So hopefully we'll put that to good use on the EMS transport side of things. Next item is resolution 2020-13 Regional Fire Protection Service Authority Planning Committee. I
Just want to table that issue?
Well, that's one way of handling it. The other is I thought that we were ready to move forward with that, and we are, with sort of no strings attached. And maybe Mr. Davis, you can enlighten us. This resolution basically just says that we're willing to move forward and do that. I don't think it hamstrings us in any way. I mean, we're going to have this other meeting to talk about the intent to terminate the interlocal agreement, but that doesn't really necessarily affect us moving forward with an RFA, does it?
No, the interlocal agreement discussion issue is kind of a separate issue. You could proceed, if depending on the will of the board, you could proceed to renegotiate the ILA and work on an RFA creation at the same time, or you could, just focus on the RFA. So this resolution is, in a sense, it's non-binding because it could always be revoked and you could pull out of a planning committee. But it indicates your intent to create an RFA with District 4, and then it would, name 3 people who would be on that planning committee. Now, District 4, if they don't pass a similar resolution, then there will be no planning committee. But this is a step that each agency needs to take in order for that to come together.
Right, and I mean, we did also receive a letter from District 4 that says, I thought that they would like Okay, we look forward to having a joint board meeting at which we could discuss the formation of a planning committee as contemplated by RCW, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we would need a formal resolution from them to say that they are interested in doing it.
Correct.
Refresh my memory. Didn't they put forth some paperwork to do that in the past?
That was it for a merger.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, the merger. Yeah, okay.
So, I mean, I'm willing to extend the invitation to move forward with this. We would need to decide who our 3 members would be. I'm not sure where you guys are on this. I mean, it's going to take 3 of us, and it will take, my understanding, 3 of them to be on the planning committee as well. I'm certainly willing to be on that. I was hoping to get 2 more people. And I don't know if either one of you are interested or where Commissioner Bosman is on the subject as well. Where are you guys at on that?
I have no problem being on it. I enjoy being on it, Bruce. I definitely have some reservations about where District 4 is at right now. Just after what I read, I'm confused as you are. Should we work on an RFA or should we iron out the ILA? It seems like District 4, I'm going to be blunt, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth at this point. And I'd like to get to the middle so that we can get something concrete instead of just spinning our wheels.
Fair enough.
And I'd be willing to take on that, take on the committee.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, I'll poll Rich as well and just say that we're all willing to be on that. I don't know that that we have to agree on those 3 today, Richard.
If you may want to just wait till you get a full board and have the selection process. If you do, you could bump this over to your special meeting.
All right. So as John Crawford suggested, should we table this issue? Thank you for your time and discussion, but with Rich's absence and some other things, we'll add this to our special meeting, which I would like to do sooner than later. So thank you for your suggestion. We'll table this issue if there's no objection.
Not on my part.
All right. All right. So I see no other new business other than I think after executive session, we'll have to affirm the fire marshal's resignation formally. Is that probably the way it should be handled, Mr. Davis, or do we even need to address it as a board other than to accept the resignation?
Why don't we say there may be action? There may be, just depending on the outcome of executive session.
All right. All right. The next item is policies and procedures. Chief, you had given us this wonderful list of policies, and I know that everyone has probably been staying awake at night reading them and making sure that everything is to their satisfaction. You and I talked about there's going to be more and more of these policies and procedures, which is a good thing. The district needs these, but maybe there's a cutoff point for where the board truly needs to review some of these versus they're just more of a housekeeping issue. Do you have some thoughts on that?
I do. It was suggested to me by another member of staff that we put forward a policy that would give the fire chief, the ability to sign off on policy that does not affect the district in any financial way. So, for example, things like smoking and tobacco use or lactation breaks, those would be things that I could sign off. Wheel chocks, simple things like that. Safety policies, anything that involves financial, it could have a financial impact, such as military leave or promotions or performance evaluations, would need to come before the board. I would work with Mr. Davis before I start signing off policy after policy to make sure that everything, works good with the state of Washington, that we're meeting our legal obligations. But it would just relieve you from having to review 10 policies a month, and you could just focus on those that are truly, like I said, of a financial impact to the district.
Mr. Davis, is there a statutory obligation for us to review and sign off on these, or can we pass that authority to the fire chief?
You can pass that authority to the fire chief, and I think the chief's suggestion on the limits of what he can approve without board approval makes sense. What I would suggest we do is we amend the resolution that we passed. Looks like it was back in 2018. I don't have the executed copy, but it's the resolution delegating authority to fire chief, and we just add that as an additional delegated duty.
Okay.
At the next meeting for action by the board.
All right. Any comments, Scott or John?
No, I think that'd be a good idea to allow Jason to sign the documents that need to be signed without financial
Impact.
Thank you.
Just a thought.
That makes sense to have Jason sign them.
All
I know
right.
everybody's bored during COVID, so I'm glad to help out, but
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and have that ready for our next meeting. And
You could add it to the special meeting if you'd like. It's just going to be a minor change to the resolution.
why not? It's gonna be a big special meeting. If it's ready, I guess we'll make it ready and do it. And then at some point, we're gonna have to sign off on some of these other ones. Did you have a timeline on that, Chief? How about by next meeting, we take care of these that are currently before us?
I added them there as a gentle reminder.
All right, so I'm gonna ask that if any of you have comments or concerns about the current policies and procedures on our agenda, which are asset management, performance evaluations, promotions, position descriptions, classification specifications, discriminatory harassment, lactation breaks, smoking and tobacco use, family and medical leave, and military leave, that you send those comments to the chief and CC me if you have any comments. Otherwise, no comments means we are going to approve these at our next regular meeting. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. Correspondence. We had some thank you for service. We had 2 letters from District 4. And our regular monthly newsletter. Anything else I'm missing out on, Chief?
No.
All right. next meeting is the 20th of August. We are probably going to be Zooming it again, but I guess we won't know until August 1st. Is that the next deadline?
Yep, I would imagine a last minute extension.
The way the numbers are trailing upward, I can't imagine that they're going to suspend this process quite yet. But I would like to query you guys on the ability to have a special meeting next week. And I would definitely like to have Commissioner Bosman there, but are there days that are better, days and times that are better for you guys?
Thursdays and Fridays work best for me.
Thursdays and Fridays, okay?
Looks like Thursday would be okay with me.
All right. Chief, do you have, what's your calendar look like on Thursday?
I can do Thursday.
All right. Mornings better for you guys, or does it matter?
Commissioner Hansel, are you going to want me at that meeting?
Probably. I think we're going to be discussing our interaction with District 4. So,
The only concern that I've got is presently, and it might get changed. Are we talking about the 20? We're talking about the 3rd in the afternoon?
whatever.
Okay, I could do that. I was thinking I would have a conflict, but I could do the 20.
Does morning work or not?
As long as it's not, as long as it is after like 10:30.
That's afternoon. All right. I know that Commissioner Bosman has had, this family emergency as well as some employees on vacation. So is there a backup date that we could throw out? So we're looking at the 23rd, say 1 o'clock then? Does that work as a primary? And then if we could do a backup? You said Friday is a backup for you, John?
That or late Wednesday, say in the afternoon sometime.
Scott?
Yeah, either, well, I guess I don't have anything on Wednesday that I'm looking at it. So Wednesday, Friday also is fine.
Richard?
So that's the day that I have the deposition. They're trying to move it, but presently I'm going to be tied up down in Seattle between 10 to 3 probably. I could hop on a meeting after that.
On which day?
On Wednesday, the 22nd.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have Jenny contact Commissioner Bosman and see where he's at and see if we can hit the 23rd at sometime after 10:30, correct?
Yeah.
All right, greater than 10:30. Maybe we can catch him on his lunch break. But we'll go from there. All right, thank you. So items for next meeting. I guess we'll keep the audit on there, Chief.
Yes.
Dakota Creek Bridge, we'll keep on there. Do we just want to table indefinitely the fire marshal services piece?
I think we should leave that on there.
Okay. And we're gonna talk about the paramedic training at our special meeting.
Right.
we'll have commissioner applications. That won't be, the deadline won't be then. So I guess we don't really need to put that on there. And the resolution will happen at the special meeting. Anything else you can, I'm missing out here? I don't, if not, we'll move to the executive session to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment or to review the performance of the public and employee, RCW 42.30.110 subsection G. We may take some sort of action after that executive session. I'm going to say, how long you want, Chief?
5 or 10 minutes.
Okay,
Not
so
that long at all.
we'll say 15 minutes because we somehow always
Okay.
seem to go longer. So I guess we can.
Commissioner Ansel, if I
Yeah.
could, just real quick, I should have brought this up earlier. I did want to say, or I do want to add that what I saw yesterday during the District 4 meeting, they and their attorney spoke of every intention of a placeholder or a bridge ILA to the end to get us to the finish line of the RFA. I want to make sure that we're going into this with an open mind. I know that, I can sense the frustration and, but I do believe there is, and it is going to be hard to juggle all, how do we do that? But I did want you to know that there wasn't, the talk wasn't just of terminating the ILA. There was just as much talk, or if not more, about creating, like I said, a placeholder agreement in the interim. So that's something else I'd like us to talk about at the special meeting, is what would your guys's expectations for that placeholder agreement be? What do we want to see in there? I think that we were a little taken aback by the length of the letter and some of the items that were brought up, but I did want to be upfront and say that they did talk about that's a replacement. The word termination is the legal term that they had to use, but it's intended to be replaced, not just terminated.
I read the letter, Jason. I saw what they want to replace it with. Are we talking all the little Dave Hansen notations of what he would like to see in his ILA? Is that the replacement that we're talking about?
I haven't seen the final draft. I can't.
Do we know when we're going to get a final draft from him?
I believe in the letter they said that it's coming soon.
Yeah, coming soon. All right.
All right, I appreciate that update. I know sometimes the legal descriptions of things can raise maybe hopefully unnecessary concerns, but it was a pretty long and detailed letter. So hopefully we can get through that. So we'll cut the live feed, move to executive session. It's 1:39 p.m. We'll be back in 15 minutes.